for at least 12 years. So when you have a true monopoly profit industry, you don't have an incentive quite as much with the same competitive market pressure to release yourself from old habits. And so as old media has sort of died away, the fact that Big Pharma is advertising as much as they are in television, I don't even think it's a good business decision.
So is it kind of like, these guys work at these Fortune 500 companies, and before they want to pitch an idea to the board, they first go spend $500,000 with McKinsey, then they come back and say, here it is.
Totally that.
Just what we typically do.
Totally that. But then it's also even like one step I would double click here, which is you put yourself in the psychology of like the person who's like the chief commercial officer of a product launch or whatever. As I said, their incentives, they're not like they're making millions of dollars on the upside if their project succeeds or whatever. They just want to do things the standard way. So if somebody tries launching that product without the TV ads, and then it ends up being a flop, but you're the only one who did it, then you get second guessed. And it's also pretty cool to be a guy who actually your product that you're working on is your ads on TV. So the psychology of it is more of a bureaucrat swamp type mentality. Oh yeah, I got to advertise at the Super Bowl. Well, it's not a high ROI. It doesn't matter because no one's competing against us anyway, and we're printing billions of dollars in bottom line profit off of that drug after it's made it all the way through the process. Once you're commercializing it, there's no real market discipline. So that's a business point that's separate from the public policy point, really. I think the real public policy point on pharma, I think, should be applying to a lot of industries. End the corruption of lobbying. Okay. If you have worked in the government, you should not be able to lobby that government any longer. If you worked with the last commissioner of the FDA, guess what he does now? He sits on the board of Pfizer. Like the first thing.
I like what you said to 10 years, right? You said
10 years. 10 years. You can do it later. And in those 10 years, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can do it to make money for yourself by through ingenuity.
Sometimes they make the money.
No, I'm saying do it the real way, but don't just for 10 years, don't exploit your government connections to do it. I don't think that's so much that. That's the real problem with pharma, because then they lobby in these special ethics of vaccines. The whole controversy is, I think it's idiotic and it's wrong. That normally, if you're a product manufacturer and something hurts you, I don't know, your furniture breaks and you get hurt, or your car breaks down, you get to sue the manufacturer as a tort. That's the system as it works. If you bought something that didn't function as it was supposed to, if there's damage that somebody did to you, then that's a tort. You get to sue them in court. It's product liability, basic feature of just common law and state law. But for pharma companies, there's a special federal blanket of immunity that says, if you're a vaccine manufacturer, you can't be sued even if that harms you. That's the product of lobbying. So I would say get the lobbying for the special privileges out of the way. That's the real problem with pharma. I'm a pretty liberty-oriented guy, and so for kids, I have separate sets of rules. Kids aren't the same as adults. For kids, you have to actually have separate rules that protect children. But if you're a freely grown adult, I think I'm a freedom-oriented guy, and so regardless of the industry, I don't want to get